Well, the college football portion of Cam Johnson's career might be over, but his football journey is just getting started as he is getting ready for the pros. We have him on with us today. We're going to have a lot of fun in our discussion with Cam, a former Bruin, also formerly of North Texas as well. And he is on the Onto Something podcast. I'm Bryan Fenley, an anchor for Fox Sports Radio, and this is an opportunity to showcase Cam and his career story and let everybody know what he's all about. So, Cam, first of all, I appreciate you doing this. I've been following your career, certainly at UCLA, and you making that move to Westwood. And it was like less than 24 hours ago when you put out that farewell message and you thanked UCLA for the 1 year you were there, used your grad transfer opportunity with them. And at the end of that message, you said you do it for your pops, this journey that you're doing.
Sure.
What part of your pops is why you are so committed to fulfilling this journey and doing it in his honor?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me. And secondly, my pops was a very big, influence in my life when it comes to football. He basically taught me everything I knew from, when I was younger. Due to unfortunate circumstances, lost him to a heart attack last year or the year before last year, December 3rd. So, I've been doing everything out of his honor just to kind of live his legacy and keep his legacy going on, kind of through me to a certain extent.
When you're on the field, where do you hear him in helping coach you or position you where you need to be? Where does his voice come out most and resonate?
Definitely in the adverse moments where I know I'm tired. I'm out there, probably got a deep ball or a deep route or something like that, and I'm running back to the line of scrimmage, and I feel like through me or him through me, I hear his voice saying, just keep pushing, keep fighting forward. I use that as motivation for everything, not just when I'm tired, but when the days when I'm not feeling good or I'm not feeling like working out or whatever the situation may be. I just been using him as motivation for a while. So
If he had a chance, and I was thinking about this, if you were to put together, Cam, say like a 4 or 5 minute highlight reel of your best moments at UCLA and your best plays at UCLA, and you had a chance to cut up the tape and make that possible, where are you going with those plays? What am I going to see in that video?
I'm definitely gonna say the LSU game. Number one, number two would be USC. Just the LSU, just the environment, man, it was insane being in a stadium like that. First of all, being in the Rose Bowl and seeing it packed has always been a dream of mine. And to play in front of a crowd like that and the energy that was, serenading throughout the stadium and whatnot, it was insane. And it was just a euphoric feeling, just, seeing all the fans go crazy just from the smallest play made. But I think I had like a third down stop that game. And it was just like the note, like I lived in the moment at that specific point in time. And, just I took it all in and listened to the crowd. And I was like, oh man, like I'm in the Pac-12. Like this is different. This is big right here. Like, so, I'll say that would be included in the little highlight reel. Then the USC game, to me, I was fairly new to the Pac-12. So that feud of UCLA versus USC, I was new to it. And like the fire that was in my teammates, it didn't really hit me until we were in the tunnel walking down to the field, and USC team was walking up, and it was just, they had, police guys all between us, and man, the trash talking started, and I was like, okay, I see, I see how things are. And, I understand that there's a long history of that, that rivalry. And from that point on, I felt the energy right there. I was ready to go. I was amped up. I was heated. And we did what we had to do as a team. Ended up, beating them by a solid amount. So that was just a crazy experience for me as well, just being in a rivalry like that.
So you beat them in dominant fashion, and you spoke about what the environment was like before the game and
Yeah.
how there was this tense, you could feel rivalry, banter back and forth. So what was it like for you walking on the field after the game at the Coliseum after beating USC? Obviously, you had a huge play in that game, an interception, and then taking it in following the win where you're still around everybody and taking in the experience.
Uh, that was probably the best feeling in the world. I couldn't explain it. I remember I was so hyped up. I climbed on one of the benches and I was just yelling to the crowd like, I forgot what it is. It's like some fight off, or I don't
Yeah,
even
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm real familiar with the well, basically that. But I remember I was just so amped up because my team was going crazy, and you know, like I could feel the rivalry and the history of the rivalry at that moment. And I remember grabbing the flag and I was waving it on the field over the USC logo, and that was a big moment for me to take it all in and take advantage of what I happily contributed to. So I mean that's something that'll probably stay with me for the rest of my life. That experience and that moment right there. So it was a great experience. It definitely was.
Cam Johnson joins me, former UCLA and North Texas defensive back, getting ready for the pros. I'm Bryan Fenley with Fox Sports Radio. You use the term euphoria, and I feel like in a way it was euphoric this whole year for you at UCLA, given what a change it was coming over from Texas. Aside from understanding about how deep rooted the rivalry is between USC and UCLA, when you had visions of what it was going to be like at UCLA after committing here for that grad transfer year, what still could you, now looking back now, imagine it being like? Like your wildest imagination didn't think it was going to be like, but it was. What does that look like for you now looking back?
I mean, this year was amazing to me. Just being on a team where, um, you know, me being new to it, I didn't really understand the circumstances that the players have went through in the past. But um, just being on a winning team and having the record we did, um, and contributing to it, it was amazing. Everything that happened this year was amazing. But looking back, I honestly can't think of anything that would make it more amazing than it already was. It was a great experience. I mean, I talked about it with my mom uh, a lot, and I'm just like, man, this is such a blessing to be in the position that I was in this year, and just to help contribute to this team and uh, be able to wear the UCLA logo, and walk around with that is like a sense of pride that you carry with yourself. So, I mean, everything that happened, it was amazing, and it was a blessing for sure.
In talking to your mom during the season, how was she that presence to talk you through things, to be there for you and to cheer for you? And how was she able to uplift you?
Um, really, just she kind of reminded me that everything that was happening, was a blessing, and to just take it in and be present. She always emphasized being present, and I feel like I acted on that, throughout the season, even on the field. A lot of players tend to have tunnel vision. I would have moments where sit there or stand there in the middle of the stadium, maybe during a timeout, and I just look around and I just be like, man, I'm a long way from home, but like this is a blessing, just looking at the fans, the stadium, and then even the things that Martin Jamon contributed to when it comes to the stadium atmosphere, just shutting off all the lights and everybody's phone camera being on, and just looking around and seeing that, man, that was crazy to me. That was definitely crazy to me, but wouldn't trade the experience for anything.
What are you most proud about in yourself in taking that chance and going a long distance away from home and knowing that you've got this finite time to do this, and probably thinking if you didn't do it, you'd regret it. But what allowed you to want to do this to a point where it probably wasn't the easiest decision to make, but you were going to make this happen regardless?
Um, so I felt like with that decision that I made of, going so far from home and everything, I was understanding of the fact that I would be able to build new possible connections, new possible relationships that could last a lifetime, that will last a lifetime. And understanding that, that helped me kind of day by day, understanding that, if anything were to happen negatively this year, as far as, an injury or anything, I still have I could take with me that I made relationships with, a lot of people that will last a lifetime. And not only that, when I made my decision to come to UCLA, because I had other schools, I had Tennessee and Mississippi State and Syracuse and some other schools. But understanding that UCLA was the #1 public school in the world, it was an easy decision. There was no hesitation, and being able to take that with me, that was a blessing that that definitely helped me just settling in and coming to UCLA overall. So
I could think of, before you got to UCLA, a relationship that you will have for a lifetime, and that is with your friend Miles Battle, who,
yeah,
as we tape this today, it's his birthday. I saw you gave him a shout out. He's
yeah,
doing big things at Ole Miss. Half my family went to Ole Miss, so I love him and what he's doing, and certainly love what you're doing at UCLA and
so,
everything that you're about. I saw this picture of you and him. You guys must have been what, 2 or 3 years old. So
we were
how?
babies.
So since you were babies, how have you made each other better football players in supporting each other?
Man, we go a long ways back, but I just remember just even being younger, just playing around. We were always competitive, whether it's basketball, football, and those small moments. I mean, we both had fire in our eyes, but it looked like we were playing around. But there's a competitive nature to it. But man, that Miles, that's my family right there. I love him. He originally played receiver at Ole
Yeah.
Miss when we first got there, and I saw the switch the corner, and I was like, man, like it's crazy how life happens. We we're literally in the same exact position, and so it's just we keep in touch a lot. I check in on him, he checks in on me. But to see him, making plays and doing everything he's doing, it's great to see because just knowing where he came from and knowing where we came from as being younger together and whatnot. It's a great thing to see. You seeing your family make it and do big things on a higher level. So that's great.
What was it like where you came from in Houston?
Um, so I went to an inner city school called Reagan. I think it's called Heights High School now. They changed the name recently, but uh, Texas is a very competitive state when it comes to football. So I could say it's just kind of like California, same type of deal. But the football community is all interlinked with, so everybody knows everyone. So knowing Miles Battle and knowing people in his conference and his district, we'd play their district, they'd play our district every now and then. So everybody knew each other. But I can definitely say that helped in my growth for the sport, just being around a lot of talented guys. So
Where do you see your growth taking off in the next couple of months as you train and you put yourself out there in front of NFL personnel?
uh, I see myself growing significantly in the skill aspect. I'm locking in on things already. Things are starting to happen pretty fast, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes, and I'm excited for this next part of my journey as of right now. Um, still figuring some things out, but for the most part, the the skill aspect of things is there, and I feel like I have what it takes. So yeah, I'm hoping all else goes well, and I'm just excited for this next part of my journey.
When it comes to the skills that you do have, what do you think are those that teams are going to want and that they're going to salivate over? What you can do best for a team out there?
Um, so as far as me personally, man, I just feel like I'm a hard worker and the guy that's gonna get the things done that's needed, regardless of what it is. Whether it's special teams or whether it's playing my position or safety or corner. I played both positions before in the past, so that versatility, I feel like that's gonna help a lot with a lot of the NFL guys that are looking at me. But just understanding how much of a hard worker that I am and what I'm willing to provide to a team and for a team is something that I feel like is going to stand out because wherever I'm needed is wherever I will work the hardest at and try my best at and do whatever I need to do to get things done.
And as you're working and as you're making those next steps, your dad is always going to be in your head.
Oh, of course.
I lost my dad when I was a teenager from cancer. And so I have a little bit of an idea, a little bit of what you're going through as far as how dads are our inner star and how
So,
much we want to make them proud, even if they're not around with us. And aside from your dad, you got a cheerleader right here, man. I'm on your side, and
yeah.
I'm rooting you on, and I'm looking forward to keeping track on what you do the next couple of months. And Cam, this was a lot of fun. I appreciate you doing this. By the way, everybody who is watching this and will watch this, be sure to follow Cam on Twitter, Cam5Johnson. Let's do that. He's also on Instagram as well. I'm on Twitter at Bryan Fenley. Cam, thanks for doing this. Thanks for opening up, telling your story, man. This meant a whole lot, man. I really appreciate that.
Nah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. You didn't have to do this, but you did, and I thank you for that. Yes, sir.